Hi everyone, Kenneth here again. I'm back. After almost 3 years, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on installing DHIS2. Well, this is not a new tutorial now. This is going to be an update to a tutorial I made in 2020 to install DHIS2. Just before we begin, I must say I received a lot of positive feedback from the last tutorial I made, and a lot of people reach out to me for help, and I was able to provide the support where needed. And I recently I've been getting some emails, people are no longer able to follow the tutorial through. They've been having errors. So things have changed. The DHIS2 has gone to, we are currently on version 40.1, and I just wanted to make a quick tutorial to guide you how to do the installation. So we'll start. I will not be explaining much details here. If you want, you can always revert back to the previous video, the one done in 2020. The link is up here in the description. And yeah, so let's begin. So here I have these files. These are the files we are going to need. The main ones is you need Tomcat. You are going to need the DHIS2 installation file itself. We are going to need JDK, and we are going to need the database Postgres. So I will just show you the links where you get it. First of all, Tomcat, the recommended version is going to be Tomcat 9. So Apache Tomcat, Tomcat 9. Do not use the Apache Tomcat 10. When you do that, it's not going to work. So the recommended version is download the Tomcat 9.0.80, and the one that we are going to download is this, the Windows Service Installer. Okay, so click on that, the 3264-bit Windows Service Installer. I already have it downloaded here, so that is what we have here. The next file you are going to download, of course, the DHIS2 file itself. So if we just go to DHIS2 download, and this is going to take us to the DHIS2 download page, and here we have the so here we have the latest. The versions we have here is version 40, published on 10th May, and this is the one we are going to have. So 2.40.1, the version 40 is what we have here. So this one is what we are going for. And we also need to download the OpenJDK. Now, in the previous ones, we were talking about JRE, JDK, the Java, executable. So, but DHIS2 recommends to use the OpenJDK. So here we have OpenJDK, and the recommended version is version 11, or you have the 8. So here we can come to this OpenLogic, OpenJDK, and we can, okay, so we can come here and we choose the version. We're going for version 11. That's what I recommend you can use. Then of course this is Windows, and here we can download the JDK version. Let's see which one. Okay, the latest here. So here we can download this, the MSI, this executable. So that is what we have here. You can download that one. So here OpenJDK 11.0.2, the executable, the Microsoft installer. So then we need you need to also download, we need to download the Postgres, Postgres 14. I recommend you use Postgres 14. Don't go and use Postgres 15. So here you can also go to Postgres 14 download, and no, I think it's here from the Enterprise DB. Yeah, let me close this. Okay, so here we can download Postgres 14, the 14.9, and yeah, the Windows version. Okay, now there is another file that we need to download, because the PostGIS bundle for Postgres 14. Okay, the reason why we're going to download this is because when we are using the stack builder, to for some reason it's just keeps spinning and takes a very long time. So to you know, bypass that process, we can just directly download the PostGIS bundle and add it to the Postgres installation folder. So here we can go to you can search for PostGIS bundle, check again. So PostGIS bundle for Postgres 14. Here you would download the PostGIS bundle. Let's go to the where is it? Okay, so here we have the PostGIS PG14, and here we can download this one, the zip version. Okay, so we can download this zip version, and this is what we have here, this one. Okay, so once we have all that, those are the files that we need to download. Now let's begin the installation. So we would start with the Postgres. We would run the Postgres, install the Postgres. I would just fast forward some of the installation process. Set to the default stack builder, everything sets. Setting a password. So now that it's installed, now if you haven't downloaded the PostGIS bundle, here you can leave this and just click so that it can open for you the stack builder, and you go and install the PostGIS extension. But I'm just going to uncheck this because I already have the PostGIS there installed, downloaded. I'm just going to extract this PostGIS. So I would extract this zip file and paste it in the PostGIS installation. I am just going to extract it in the same folder. Okay, so now I have extracted the PostGIS bundle. It was a zip file. Now I can copy the entire these files in the bundle here. I can copy it to the Postgres installation. But before we do that, the Postgres service is already running. So I can go to type service, and we need to stop the Postgres service. So I would scroll down to Postgres, this one, and I'm going to stop this temporarily, then I'll come back to it later. So the PostGIS bundle that we have here, I'm going to copy it. You go to the location where you have your the Postgres has been installed. So it's in the program files, and here we have Postgres SQL 14, and just inside here, this folder, we just paste the PostGIS bundle there. So replace the files in the destination and do this for all, continue, and there we have added the PostGIS extension to the Postgres folder. So now we can use it in our database. This method I'm using this method because I'm not able to properly run the PostGIS extension with the stack builder, so that's why I'm manually installing it this way. So now that we have that, before again we start our database, we need to do some modifications to the Postgres itself for high performance. So here there's a guide here. If you go back to the 2020 video I made, there is some this optimization for the Postgres that we need to do more when you are doing for production. You need to set that your DHIS2 it's not running slowly. So here we are going to modify the Postgres configuration file, and this is found if we are in the Postgres folder. We go to data, and here we would see the Postgres SQL, the conf file. So I'm going to open this with Notepad, and I would so I'm going to open this with Notepad, and I can search for the necessary files. So here I'm going to look for maximum connections in there, and I will just replace that. So find set this to 200, and next one is shared buffer. Memory is it. We can go ahead now and start our database. So here we have our Postgres database. We can start this one. Alright, so our Postgres database is running. Now we can go and create a database that we are going to use. So search for pgadmin, and this comes as part of the installation, the Postgres installation. Okay, so once we have opened pgadmin, we haven't created any database yet. the first thing we need to do is we need to create a user that would be managing the database, the DHIS2 database. So this user, I'm going to call it DHIS2 DB admin. Okay, and the privileges, I'm going to just set all the privileges. Later, if you want, you can change it. Here, password, I'm just going to set a simple password, 123456. You have to set a complex password if you are doing this for production. This is just for demo, and I can create this user. So now we have the user DHIS2DB admin. This user is going to be managing the database for us. We would have full access to the database we are going to create. So here we can call this database DHIS2 DHIS2DB. Okay, and here we set the owner to be this user that we've just created, the DHIS2 admin DB admin. So the name of the database is DHIS2DB DHIS2DB admin, and we set the password for the user 123456. Now you should note we have a database created here, and currently everything is empty. Let's check. So there are no tables here. This database that we have created, the user, the owner is this DHIS2DB admin. So we right click on this database, and here we are going to add extension, create extension, and here we are going to search for PostGIS, and we select PostGIS there. So we click on save, and what this is going to do is going to add PostGIS to this our database. Now if we check in here, we should have a table spatial reference created. This is because of the extension that we have added, the PostGIS extension that we have added. So that is all what we have we can do right now on this section. Later we'll just come and verify that they we'll come back to this later. I'll just minimize this. So now we have our database set. Next we are going to install the Java, the OpenJDK. So here I run this and check this. Here we set the set Java home variable and Java registry key. So just set all this and we install. Okay, so once we have installed the Java OpenJDK, it will automatically set for us the environment variables. If you just search for environment, okay, here you see edit system environment variables, and here this system properties environment variables, we can verify here that the Java home is already set to this Open Logic JDK. And also if we check the path here, if we go to edit, here it has already set for us, added the path to the bin directory for the Java that we have installed. Okay, so that is fine there. Whilst we are still on this environment variable, there is one thing we need to, well, two things that we need to set. The first one is the DHIS2 home. So type in here DHIS2 underscore home, and here we need to set it to a directory. So the directory we are going to create on our C drive, just in the main C drive, we need to create a directory, a new directory called DHIS2. Okay, so this is where we'll put the DHIS2 configuration. Now if we go back to our environment variable, where is it? Okay, yeah. So this environment variable, we are going to set the directory, browse directory, and we go to the C drive and set this to DHIS2 and click OK. So here we set the DHIS2 home to this one. The other thing that we need to add is we also need to add the Java options. So here we have Java OPTS, and there is some long thing that we need to copy. So I'll put this in the description. The value for this Java options here is this one. We would copy this and add it to our environment variables here. Okay, so here we have this. So in summary, here we should have DHIS2 home, we should have the Java home, we should have the Java ops, and also in the path directory we make sure that the JDK bin folder is added to the path, and those are the things that we need there. So we are done with the Java installation. Now what we need is we need to go and create a configuration file. I already have the DHIS2 configuration file. The configuration file will basically be to be able to communicate to the database. DHIS2 needs to communicate to the Postgres database, and this configuration file will be stored in the folder we have created on the C drive. So here if we come to the folder here, this C drive DHIS2 folder, now in here we need to create a file, a configuration file. We name it, so I'll text document. Here I will name this one now DHIS .config. Now if we just add this is a text document, but what we need is we need to actually change. This has a .txt extension, so you are not seeing it. You need to make sure you turn on. If we go to the view, here we can go to show file name extensions. Now if we did the file name extension, you will see that the DHIS2 conf.txt, but we don't need the .txt there. So I realized that most people were having issues, because when you say go and create a DHIS2 configuration file, they probably don't see the extension, the txt at the end, and that will basically fail. So every time you try to connect, it will not connect. So click on yes, and the file should be named dhis2.conf, and the type of file will be a configuration file. So here if we open this in a notepad, we can basically just copy. I'm going to copy this file. I'm going to explain here what it should take. Okay, so in that DHIS2 configuration file, we have this connection dialect. Here it sets the Postgres driver. Now this one, what you need to change depending on how you named your database. I named, for this tutorial, I named it DHIS2 DB. So the name of the database is this. The username that we created was DHIS2 DB admin. Now if you are using a different username, you can use that username here, and the password we created for that user is this. You can use your own complex passwords. Here leave this, the schema update. The encryption password you can put along whatever here, and the base server URL. Now for this tutorial, I'm just going to prefix it that we'll be accessing the DHIS2 when we enter localhost 8080/DHIS2. If we wanted it to just be accessed via the 8080, then we don't put anything here, but you have to go and also name your DHIS2 file accordingly. So here, because we'll be accessing it via DHIS2 here, so we use /DHIS2, we will go and rename our DHIS2, the WAR file, to just DHIS2. So that is the file that we need here. Now in your C drive, you will need to have this DHIS2 configuration file, and if we open it, this will be the file, the information that should be in it. Okay, you can modify it accordingly based on the credentials you have set in your database. So we have done the Java installation, we have done the Postgres with the PostGIS installation, we have set the DHIS2 configuration file, and now the final one we have to do is we need to install the Apache Tomcat. So here I will click on this Apache Tomcat. Now I remind you, I said use the Tomcat 9, don't use version 10. If you use version 10, it's going to fail. So use Tomcat 9, and I will check this host manager here, and this, I will name this service say Tomcat 9. I'll call this one say DHIS. You can name it anything, you know, it's just for me to know. Here I would add admin and the password. I can add a password here. This is just to be able to access the Tomcat manager. Then here you see it's automatically detected the Java installation path for us, and here the destination folder where this will be installed. So now once that is installed, you don't need to run this. We can uncheck this for now. We are going to modify the configuration file for that. So let's go to the installation where we have the Apache Tomcat. Now it is in the C drive, program files, Apache Software Foundation, and this is the file that we have here installed. Click on continue, and this is going to open for you this. Now we need to modify the configuration, the server XML configuration. We need to modify that. I'm just going to open it with Notepad, and here what we need to do is we need to set under the connector section here, we need to pass in a parameter. Let me just get you here. So there's a parameter, this relaxed query characters. Okay, so I'll just bring this one here. We need to add to this connector port 8080 here. We need to add this there. Relaxed query chars is equal to that, and click on save. All right, so that's it we'll need for this server XML. And now we go back to our configuration file for the Tomcat. Then in the web apps, this is where we are going to put in our WAR file. So let me minimize this. Here we have downloaded this DHIS2 WAR file. Here we are going to put this WAR file in here in the Tomcat folder where we have the web apps, and we are going to rename it to just DHIS now. Okay, now we are going to rename it DHIS2. When it explodes this WAR file, it's going to create a folder here called DHIS, just how we have named this WAR file, DHIS. Now the reason why we have done that is because here in our, if we look at our configuration file here in our C drive, DHIS2 configuration file, here we have this base URL is /DHIS. So anything you name here is what you also name here for the WAR file. Okay, so now we have that. We would go to, let's go back, we'll go to start the service. So we go to the bin for the in the Apache Tomcat, and here we need to run first this service, okay, the DHIS2 exe, the Tomcat 9 DHIS exe. This is the first one we need to run. Then once that is completed, then we can run this one, the W. And so here we click run as administrator, click on yes, and that is going to start extracting the files for us. Click on allow, and it's going to extract the files for us. And if everything goes well, it should be able to take the configurations from the file that you created, the DHIS.conf file you created in your C drive, and would write to the database, the Postgres database, all the tables that are needed for DHIS2. And if we go later and check in our DHIS, in our Postgres database, the DHIS2 database, we should see now that it has created a whole lot of tables there for us. Once you see those tables, then you know that your installation went well. Everything should work as expected. So I'll forward this now installation. It will take some time, and I will see you soon. Okay, so now once everything is run, you will see the here Catalina start server startup in whatever milliseconds, how long it took to run everything for you. So once you see this, the startup in whatever milliseconds, this one is done now. Here we can close this particular program here. Now once we have closed that one, we need to now run this the second one here. So if we also just run as administrator, here before we start the service, I would always want to set the maximum memory pool to here 512 and click on apply. Then I can come to my to start. Now the startup time is set to manual. Of course, if you are doing this in production, you want to set this to automatic, and similarly with also the database, also that the service starts automatically. But I'm just setting this to manual here and click on start the service. So it should start the service for us now, and it should take few minutes for the DHIS to start running. Now if we come back to our database, let's just refresh this, we should be able to see that it has created a whole lot of tables for us. So here in total we have 307 tables. Now this is a confirmation that indeed the Tomcat was able to communicate with the database. The credentials you provided were all correct, and now we can go and check for our installation. So here we have localhost 8080. The path that we used was DHIS. Okay, so now if you do that and wait for it to take some time for the first time you are running. Okay, so everything ran successfully. Now we are here, we have our new fresh installation of DHIS2, and the password, the default password to log in is admin. The username is admin and the password is district, lower cases, DISTRICT. Okay, so there we have our DHIS2 installation, and here if we check, this is version 2.40.1. okay, so If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. You can always reach out to me via LinkedIn. Just look for Kenneth VS Coker. For those who don't know, I'm a geoinformation consultant, a software developer, and also a big data analyst. So thanks for watching, and see you in next video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe for more educational content.